Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video today. And today, the Houston Rockets 2023-24 schedule was announced at 2 o'clock. I'm so excited. I love this schedule. I think the Rockets are going to be way better than they were last season. This schedule is very interesting, just to me, in my opinion. And it's. I think it's going to be a fun year for the Houston Rockets this season. And the first 10 games are very intriguing for me, and let's get into it, Rockets fans. So here is the Houston Rockets 2024 schedule. Now, I got to say before I start this, the fact that the Rockets only have one national televised game this season is ridiculous. Their only national televised game is, well, they have like 3 NBA TV games, but, for Rockets fans that, for people who live in Houston, it's not like we're going to be able to get to watch that on NBA TV. If you have AT&T Sportsnet or whatever channel the Rockets will be on, then in that case, NBA TV would be blocked out. ESPN, that wouldn't happen. The Rockets would be on solely ESPN. Rockets out of ESPN, ABC, or TNT games only have one game, and that's on ESPN, and that is against the Detroit Pistons. And that is actually, I believe that is I think it's like a game in December. I'm pretty sure. It's on the road, and it's against the Pistons, and it's Ausar versus Amen Thompson. The twin brothers face each other. I believe that is the first time they face each other. So let's go over the schedule, though. So the Rockets start their first 2 games on the road on Wednesday, October 25th, where they face the Orlando Magic at 6 o'clock, and then Friday, where they face Victor Wembanyama, the first overall pick, for the first time at 7 o'clock. But then they go on to have a 7-game homestand, which with one of those games being a play-in tournament game. The first game is the home opener against the Golden State Warriors on a Sunday on October 29th at 6 o'clock against the Golden State Warriors. Then they have some time off. They have Monday and Tuesday off and play Wednesday against the Charlotte Hornets at 7 o'clock at home. Then have Thursday and Friday off and play Saturday against the Sacramento Kings at home at 7 o'clock. And then play Sacramento again at home on Monday, 7 o'clock. Then play the LA Lakers on Wednesday. That's November 8th at 7 o'clock. And then the Houston Rockets' first in-season tournament game on November 10th, 7 o'clock. And that's an in-season tournament game. And then the last game of that homestand is the Denver Nuggets game, a Denver Nuggets home game, which is November 12th. And then the Rockets have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday off. And then Friday, they play the Los Angeles Clippers for their second end-season tournament game. So that's how the Rockets' first couple weeks start off of the regular season. But then after that second in-season tournament game, the Rockets stay in Los Angeles to face the Lakers for the second time in the season. To face the Lakers the second time in the season, and so that is on November. I'm trying to look. That's November 19th, and then they have their first back-to-back of the season. Surprisingly, that's their first bet. They haven't had a back-to-back all season. That's when on November 20th, they play the Golden State Warriors at 9 o'clock. So, I haven't been doing times, actually. So, Nuggets, the home game, 6 o'clock. Clippers, 9:30. Lakers, 8:30. Warriors, 9 o'clock. Then, Tuesday off, of course. And then back at home after the 3-game road trip. And this is this is going to be a really interesting game. Dillon Brooks plays against his former team, the Memphis Grizzlies, come into town. On November 22nd, a Wednesday, 7 o'clock, the Rockets host the Memphis Grizzlies, and Dillon Brooks plays against his former team. Then Friday, the third end-season tournament game, the Houston Rockets face the Denver Nuggets at 7 o'clock. That's the second time the Rockets face the Denver Nuggets. And then it won't be shortly till they play them again. Then the last in-season tournament game, the Houston Rockets will play the Dallas Mavericks, and that's on the 28th at 7:30. And then they will have a back-to-back where they will head to Denver on Wednesday at 8 o'clock, and that will be it for the month of November for the Houston Rockets. So then after that, going into December, so December is a little weird. So you have a game against the Los Angeles Lakers on Saturday, December 2nd at 9:30. And then from the December 3rd through December 9th, they will play two games. But we don't know who they will face. Those are two games that will be to be announced. That's just because of the in-season tournament. So that should be interesting to watch. And so then they won't play at games we know of. Victor Wembanyama on December 11th will play at Toyota Center for the first time on December 11th, 7 o'clock. And then the Houston Rockets will play the Memphis Grizzlies twice on Wednesday, December 13th at 7 o'clock. And then Dillon Brooks will play his first game in Memphis at 7 o'clock, December 15th. So it'll be fun to see how Memphis takes Dillon Brooks being back. Then the Rockets play the Milwaukee Bucks for the first time of the season on December 17th, 6 o'clock. Then a back-to-back against Cleveland at 6 o'clock as well. That's the 18th of December. Then back at home against Atlanta at 7 o'clock. Then another home game against Dallas at 7 o'clock. Then back on the road against New Orleans at 6 o'clock. Have Sunday. That game. So you have two back-to-backs in the same week. You play. So this December 17th through 23rd week, they have two back-to-backs. They face Milwaukee and Cleveland on the 17th and 18th, and then they have. And then they face the Mavericks and the Pelicans on the 22nd and 23rd. So then they have the 24th off because nobody plays on Christmas Eve, and then they have Christmas off because they're not on the Christmas schedule, and then they get back to action for another very long homestand, another 7-game homestand for the Rockets. And this starts off with the Indiana Pacers on December 26th, the day after Christmas, at 7 o'clock. Then the Phoenix Suns at 7 o'clock. That's another back-to-back for the Rockets. And then the Philadelphia 76ers, will James Harden be playing for them on December 29th at 7 o'clock. And then the homestand continues going into January. First game of 2024 for the Houston Rockets is against the Detroit Pistons and Ausar Thompson. Ausar and Amen Thompson will play each other for the first time in their young NBA careers. The twin brothers will play each other for the first time, and that is at 7 o'clock. And that is not on ESPN or no. That is on no national televised game. That's not a national televised game, which it should be. All right, then January 3rd, that's the 5th game of that homestand. You play Brooklyn on Wednesday, January 3rd, 7 o'clock. Then on the 5th, they play the Minnesota Timberwolves at 7 o'clock. That's the 5th. And then a back-to-back, another back-to-back against the Milwaukee Bucks. And that's at home at 7 o'clock. Then the homestand ends while a road trip begins. A 6-game road trip begins. Monday, January 8th, the Rockets face the Miami Heat at 6:30. Then Wednesday, January 10th, the Chicago Bulls at 7 o'clock. Then this game is the ESPN game for the Houston Rockets. This game will be on ESPN January 12th. This will be a really entertaining back-to-back for the Rockets. January 12th, we play Detroit at 6:30. And that game will be on ESPN. Ausar and Amen Thompson playing each other again. Then this game should be another national televised game. The Rockets at the Boston Celtics. Ime Udoka making his return to the Boston Celtics. That game will be at 6 o'clock. Then the Rockets travel to Philadelphia. They're hitting the Eastern Coast trip. And then that game is at 12 o'clock. That's the earliest game we've seen all season. That's on the 15th. And then they play the 17th to end the road trip against the New York Knicks at 6:30. Then they have 2 days off, back home on a Saturday against the Utah Jazz at 7 o'clock. Then another back-to-back. This one is the Boston Celtics again. This time, the Boston Celtics come to visit Ime Udoka. That game's at 6 o'clock. And then the fourth overall pick will take on the third overall pick when the Portland Trailblazers come to town on January 24th at 7 o'clock. And then Friday, you just face the third overall pick. Why don't you face the second overall pick now? That's Friday. Charlotte, you play Charlotte January 26th, and the Rockets on 6. That's a 6 o'clock game, and the Rockets will face Brandon Miller and the Charlotte Hornets. Then another back-to-back for the Rockets, Brooklyn Nets at 6 o'clock. Or is that 5 o'clock? I can't tell. I think that's 5 o'clock. That's 5 o'clock. And that's on January 27th. And then I do believe this is the last time they play the Los Angeles Lakers in the season. They face the Lakers on January 29th, and that's at home. And then they play the Pelicans on January 31st at home at 7 o'clock, and that ends the January schedule. All right, February. The last home game of a 3-game homestand against the Toronto Raptors. I do believe, this is the first time that Fred VanVleet will play. This is the first time Fred VanVleet will play his former team, the Toronto Raptors. He plays them twice in the month of February, and this game is on February 2nd. The Toronto Raptors come to town at 7 o'clock. Then on February 4th, the Rockets play the Minnesota Timberwolves, and that game is at 6 o'clock. Then this is a 4-game road trip against the Pacers at 6 o'clock. And then the Rockets have Wednesday and Thursday off. Then Friday, Fred VanVleet returns to the Toronto plays in Toronto for the first time in his career, and that is at 6:30. And then Saturday, that's another back-to-back for the Rockets. The Rockets face the Atlanta Hawks at 6:30. Then the Rockets on Monday, February 12th, play the New York Knicks. And that's at home at 7 o'clock, February 12th. Then they play the Memphis Grizzlies for the last time in the regular season. Dylan Brooks travels to Memphis again, and that's February 14th. Then they have they have the 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, and 21st off due to the All-Star break. Then the 22nd of February, they play the Pelicans, first game since the All-Star break. And then they play the Phoenix Suns at home at 7 o'clock. And then they play a pair of games against the Oklahoma City Thunder. The 25th, they play OKC at home, 6 o'clock. Then the 27th, they play OKC in Oklahoma at 7 o'clock. And then to finish off the month of February, the Houston Rockets will face the Phoenix Suns again, this time in Phoenix. That game starts at 8 o'clock. And how about just play Phoenix all the time? Because then the next game is against the Phoenix Suns. That's on March 2nd. So the Rockets play the Phoenix Suns February 23rd, February 29th, and March 2nd. So Suns on February 2nd. Then they have a couple days off. Then Victor Wembanyama comes to Houston for the last time. That's on March 6th, 7 o'clock. Then another back-to-back. The next game is at home against the Los Angeles Clippers on the March 7th. March 6th. So the Wembanyama game is March 5th, and then the Clippers game is March 6th. And then the Rockets go on the road for a 3-game road trip, playing the Portland Trailblazers March 8th at 9 o'clock. And then the Sacramento Kings on March 10th at 5 o'clock on the road. And then the San Antonio Spurs, March 12th, 7:30. That's the last time the Rockets play Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs. Then the Rockets have a two-game homestand Thursday, March 14th, the Washington Wizards and Jordan Poole at 7 o'clock. And then March 16th, the Cleveland Cavaliers and Donovan Mitchell at 4 o'clock. Then they play the Wizards again, this time in Washington, March 19th at 6 o'clock. And then at home for a 3-game homestand against the Chicago Bulls, the Utah Jazz, and the Portland Trailblazers on the 21st, 23rd, and 25th. All game times are at 7 o'clock. That's on a Thursday, a Saturday, and a Monday. Then a 2-game road trip against the Oklahoma City Thunder on Wednesday, 7 o'clock. And then Utah Jazz Friday, 8:30. And then they finish off the month of March with a home game against the Dallas Mavericks at 6 o'clock. And then the last month of the season on April, the Rockets have have a total of 7 games in the month of April to finish off the season. April 2nd, they play Minnesota at 7 o'clock, a 2-game homestand facing the Golden State Warriors at 7 o'clock, and then a back-to-back on April 5th against the Miami Heat. Then play the Dallas Mavericks for the last time in the season at 2:30 in Dallas on April 7th. Then they play on April 9th against the Orlando Magic. That's the last home game of the season at 7 o'clock. And then the last 3 games of the season are on the road against the Utah Jazz, 8 o'clock, Portland Trailblazers, a back-to-back at 9 o'clock, and the Los Angeles Clippers at 2:30. So that wraps it up for the schedule. User thoughts. I'm excited. User thoughts on the Rockets schedule. I think the Rockets will have a good year. I think the Rockets are going to win in the area of 35 to 40-something games this season. But yeah, I think it's going to be a good year for the Houston Rockets. User thoughts. That's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace out. Go Rockets.